Welcome to a short video about one of the central concepts of the TOK course, which is certainty. I've paired this with belief because I believe an investigation into certainty in belief reveals some very important ideas about knowledge itself. Firstly, that knowledge has a very strong psychological element, and secondly, that the majority of knowledge we have, especially knowledge about the world, is probabilistic. A classic phrase that I learned a long time ago when I started studying philosophy was the difference between ordinary doubt and philosophical doubt. To have ordinary doubt is to doubt that the train is going to arrive on time. That's an ordinary doubt that you'd have in your everyday lives. However, when you're studying philosophy, you need to go a little bit further. So philosophical doubt is to doubt that the train exists at all. So linking this to the theme of certainty, we really want to be looking at certainty in terms of knowledge through the lens of philosophical doubt. Okay, what does it mean to be absolutely certain? So without further ado, let's dive in. To begin with belief, on the screen here you can see 8 knowledge claims or 8 propositions. The first thing to be aware of is that there are different kinds of beliefs. Now, I've categorized these beliefs in 3 ways. There are facts, opinions, and then you have proposition 7, which is a faith claim. Theists would argue that this is a fact, and atheists would argue this is an opinion. Try now to define exactly what a belief is. I would say at its most basic, it's nothing more than a thought about an abstract or a physical object. The other thing to say is that beliefs are really important to us, and we derive a huge sense of who we are and our identity from the beliefs we have. The other really important thing to say about beliefs is just like the needle of a compass points north, beliefs tend to aim at the truth. We can test this out with a little experiment. Try to believe something you know is false. For example, there is an elephant sitting behind you at this very moment. This psychological element of belief really connects to the first definition of certainty, the psychological definition, which is nothing more that someone is sure or absolutely certain, a feeling about the truth of something. The second meaning of certainty is logical certainty, sometimes called philosophical certainty, and links to the idea of necessary truths. The best examples of necessary truths come from mathematics and logic. For example, 2 + 2 = 4, or that all bachelors are unmarried men. There's a little bit of controversy over the third meaning of certainty, things that cannot be doubted. Some people argue that this third definition is just taking elements from definition 1 and definition 2. And one way to think about it is those movies such as The Truman Show and The Matrix. In these movies, the protagonists increasingly doubt that their experiences match up with reality. However, what they can be certain of is that they are having those perceptions or those experiences, even though they might be of a false reality. Linking now certainty and belief to knowledge. One key question is certainty a necessary and sufficient condition for knowledge? In other words, once you have certainty, is that enough to have knowledge? And if you don't have certainty, does that mean knowledge is impossible or out of reach? Since Plato's time, and focusing on the psychological definition of certainty, knowledge has thought to be something that is not completely subjective. In other words, if somebody has psychological certainty, for example a bigot, that does not necessarily mean they have knowledge. On the other hand, it's also possible for someone not to have psychological certainty, but indeed to have knowledge. A great example is a humble and nervous mathematics student. When they come out of the exam, they're very nervous about how well they did, and they really don't have any certainty with regards to their performance and their answers in the exam. When the exam's graded, they get 100%. And so it's very clear that the answers were good and the student, she did have mathematical knowledge, even though she didn't have that psychological certainty. So that concludes what is a very short introduction to belief and certainty. The main thing to take away from that is, first, beliefs are very psychological and they really point to what you think or what you believe is knowledge. The second thing is certainty can be divided into logical and psychological certainty, and that psychological certainty is neither a necessary nor a sufficient condition for knowledge. In terms of logical certainty, that really deserves another video, and I'll be addressing that when I focus on the possibility of the synthetic a priori. So, thanks very much for watching. Please subscribe and don't forget to smash the like button.